Hello and welcome to Solent Sports News. The Russian Grand Prix has been cancelled. The FIA made the decision after multiple drivers refused to race in the country following their invasion of Ukraine. Sebastian Vettel was the first to come out against it.
I should not go, I will not go. I think it's wrong to race in the country. I'm sorry for the people, innocent people that are losing their lives, that are getting killed for stupid reasons, and a very, very strange and mad leadership. So.
The conflict has forced Haas into changing the look of their car. It's now sporting all white after removing the colours that make up the Russian flag, and 2 Russian sponsors from the livery of the car. It's the last day of practice for F1 drivers in Barcelona, and there have already been 5 red flags. Charles Leclerc is currently the fastest in the Ferrari, ahead of Pierre Gasly and Daniel Ricciardo. Lewis Hamilton is set to go out later this afternoon. Labour MP Chris Bryant has told the government that Chelsea owner and Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich should have his assets seized. Should be seized, including his £152 million house. Boris Johnson said in Parliament that he couldn't comment on individuals in that way, but a spokesperson for Abramovich has declined to comment. Former heavyweight champion Vladimir Klitschko said he would take up arms along his brother Vitaly Klitschko in the conflict against Russia. Vitaly Klitschko has been mayor of Kiev since 2014 and has already stated his willingness to fight, and the two had this message of unity to say.
I just want to tell you we must stay united against this aggression, against Russian aggression. Don't let it happen, continue happening in Ukraine, don't let it happening in Europe, and eventually in the world.
UEFA have confirmed the Stade de France in Paris will now host the 2022 Champions League final. The final was originally set to be held in the Gazprom Arena in St. Petersburg, but UEFA have been forced to change location following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. UEFA has also confirmed that Spartak Moscow will not be allowed to play in their Europa League round of 16 tie in Russia. A new venue is yet to be decided. The Ukrainian FA has also requested that the 2023 Super Cup final should be moved from Kazan in Russia, and have also requested that FIFA and UEFA should ban Russian teams from their competitions. UEFA is yet to respond to these requests and also hasn't stated whether they will still be affiliated with Russian state-run gas giant Gazprom, who are in a deal together worth over £30 million. Well, the cheerleading teams have been hard at work. We're going to go live to George Harrison with the latest.
We're here at the Solent Sports Halls where the Solent Ravens come to practice and perfect all their stunts. From coming to a practice session, you could quite clearly tell that this is most definitely a sport, even though some people consider cheerleading to not be a sport. From my package that you'll see very, very soon, you can see that you have to be very physically fit, and it is physically demanding to actually perform some of these stunts and routines, like getting flipped in the air, and you have to catch them as well, so you use a lot of upper body strength. Here's my full package. It's here in the Solent University Sports Halls where the Solent Ravens practice their routines for cheerleading competitions and university team matches. The sport is stereotyped to be easy and is looked down upon by some. Social Secretary for the Ravens, Izzy Philpott, thinks cheerleading doesn't seem dangerous from the outside, but explained why it can lead to some serious injuries.
At the competition we did at the weekend, a girl's tooth got knocked out on the mat. Someone that they headbutted, she knocked into someone else and her tooth got knocked out and the other girl's head was bleeding. Like, it's horrible. It's so physically demanding, and I don't think anyone realises that, because again it just comes down to the stereotypical view of it being something on the side of people just standing around. But it definitely does get looked down on, especially in uni cheer. Like, I know at uni here we don't get any of the help or like recognition that other societies get, maybe like football or rugby. They're all over the Instagram, for example, whereas we're never really on there, so it definitely does get looked down upon.
The Ravens are a competition level 2 team, which lets them compete in future cheer. The competition is the first organisation to be accepted into the US All-Stars Federation outside of the States. 2 separate teams from the Ravens, Ember and Scorch, placed 2nd and 3rd place in Manchester on the 13th of February. Graduate of Solent and one of the coaches, Leah Evans, explained why the sport can only be done at an age of peak physicalness.
Cheer is very physically demanding. You can only do it, I would say, to a certain age because your joints won't be able to handle it, especially with the tumbling and especially the uni cheer as well. You're lifting fully grown people, like you're not lifting kids like if you were in all-star cheer, you're lifting like adults.
The Uni Society are still working hard for the upcoming competitions in March and will have to travel from the south coast up to Birmingham and Nottingham. There is a lot of effort put in by the Ravens that goes unnoticed. We asked another coach, Kirsty Milligan, how she feels when people don't consider cheerleading a sport and don't comprehend how tough it can be.
It really aggravates me because we put so much work into it, and then when people just kind of come forward and say like, oh, you don't do anything properly, you just cheer people on a football game. It's like, from all the training we put in, it's just frustrating when everyone says it. People always see in like movies, cheerleaders running around doing nothing. They always like dumb blonde cheerleaders. I think that's why it's looked down on.
Cheerleading is stereotyped to just be running around with pom-poms, but in reality, it tests your full body strength. The Ravens are proving that it is tough and look to win the competition for the first time since 2017.
Manchester United are looking to terminate their sponsorship deal with Russia's national airline Aeroflot. The company have been the club's official carrier since 2013, and the current deal goes until 2023. On Thursday, Boris Johnson banned Aeroflot from operating in the United Kingdom in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Southampton are back in action this evening, taking on Norwich at St Mary's. The South Coast side are without fullback Romain Perrault due to COVID-19, while Lianka, Nathan Teller and Alex McCarthy remain sidelined. The Saints have been in fine form, losing just once in the last 11 games, whilst they have only lost once at home all season, which was against Wolves back in September. West Ham and Rangers have found out their opponents for the last 16 of the Europa League. David Moyes' side face Serbian team Red Star Belgrade, whilst Rangers will play second place in La Liga Sevilla. The Gers knocked out Borussia Dortmund in 6-4 on aggregate, finishing the job in a 2-2 draw at the Ibrox last night. Ties will take place on the 10th and then 17th of March. The Conference League draw also happened today. Leicester, who are the only British side in the competition, faced 5th place League One team Rennes, who drew 2-2 with Tottenham earlier this season. Brentford boss Thomas Frank has confirmed that new signing Christian Eriksen will make his debut against Newcastle tomorrow. The Danish midfielder played in a behind closed doors game against Rangers, which saw the side draw 2-2 with Eriksen creating both goals for the Bees. This weekend's clash will be the first competitive match that the former Spurs player has played in since he collapsed on the pitch during Denmark's match against Finland at Euro 2020. Eastleigh will look to end their 10-match winless run in the National League tomorrow. They travel to promotion-chasing Boreham Wood, who have already beaten the Spitfires at Meadow Park this season in the FA Cup. Boreham Wood are still in the competition, and a 5th round away trip to Goodison Park awaits them when they face Everton on Thursday. Eastleigh Football Club introduced a pan-disability team in 2016 when they brought it in under 12s, under 16 and an adult team. The club are still going strong 6 years later with a scheme to help people with disabilities enjoy football. Jack Ross reports.
In 2016, Eastleigh Football Club introduced a range of pan-disability football teams to the community, including under 12s, under 16s and an adult team. The scheme is still going strong 6 years later in 2022. The other week we caught up with Gaz Davidson, who is the community manager in charge of the league, who talked us through the setup and the type of things they do in the league.
The Pan-Dis is aimed at people who struggle to get into mainstream teams because of their disability. The referees that are here are fully aware of the disabilities that are sort of that they're tasked with. So if there's any kind of meltdowns or incidents, you know, they know how to sort of handle it. But it is run as football. There are still yellow and red cards, but we tend to like the warnings first, then a sin bin before we get to the yellows and the reds. It's not a case of just dishing them out. You know, we do have to take into consideration the different disabilities. As you can see behind, there's games going on, and we've got a massive, diverse disability session. You know, in the under-16s, we had a young lad who's on blades, double amputee on blades. We've got learning difficulties, we've got autism, cerebral palsy. We've got a mass sort of diverse set of players.
Referee Adrian Knight told us about his experience within the league so far and the difficulties he faces compared to refereeing a normal game of football.
You can be really, really lenient, which is nice.
We haven't got shorts.
We relax the rules a little bit, soften it, just let them play. It really is, just whatever it is. Roll-ins, don't sort of be too fussy with back pass rules. They do foul, sometimes it can be naughty, which is fine. And then you pull them out. As long as they have somebody bossy in the middle, and I can do bossy.
Josh Harding is the manager of the Farley Falcons, one of the teams taking part in the league, and he expressed his reasons behind managing a disability team and what the future holds for his side.
I managed the under-12s and under-16s, looking to set up an adult team, all being well, and started about 4 or 5 years ago with 4 players, and ever since then we've grown and done mainstream team before, I still do. But disability is more rewarding, more fun for them, and actually watching them play, they don't care what the weather is, where they play, they just want to have fun.
Is that what it's all about?
It is all about fun really, don't care about the results really, even though our league's competitive, in the under-16, it's all about fun really.
Rebecca is the parent of one of the kids taking part in the league, and she spoke to us about the scheme and how important it is for a child with a disability to be able to get out and play football, especially with people who have the same issues.
So we've discovered this football team club as a brilliant opportunity, really inclusive, built up his team spirit, and it's so friendly. Everybody's been friendly. We're quite new to hand disability, and it's just been a real revelation. It really has.
Jack Cross, Solent Sports News.
Novak Djokovic has officially lost his world #1 ranking after a shock defeat to Jiri Vesely in the quarter-finals of the Dubai Championships. Dani Medvedev has taken the Serbian's place at the top. It's now the first time someone other than Federer, Murray, Nadal and Djokovic has held the #1 rank since 2004. Ben Youngs is set to break the caps record for England's men tomorrow in the Six Nations. The scrum half is currently tied on 114 caps with World Cup winning prop Jason Leonard. He's still way off the England women's highest appearance marker Rocky Clark with 137 appearances. England coach Eddie Jones gives all the credit to Youngs.
Yeah, well, it's a great testament to his resilience, his durability, and his ability to keep improving. To play 115 caps, you have to have a desire to want to keep improving.
Now we pass over to Hayden Baker, who has been finding out if women's football can overcome stereotypes and diversity in the modern game.
Women's football is one of the world's most growing sports, with over 5.9 million new viewers tuning into the Women's Super League in 2021 alone. Naturally, the new viewership will mean new players, as the FA estimates over 3 million female players in England alone. The wave of new players is welcome news for Solent University ladies coach Rafa Citron, who's proud to welcome players of all abilities.
We open the doors for everyone. We don't mind how they come here. Just open the doors and we integrate all together. So we like a family. We treat everyone the same. We try to improve the ones who are not at the level, regardless where they came from or any other type of difference they have. We just treat everyone the same and try to improve together.
Growth in participation has motivated FIFA to facilitate 60 million players by 2026. But the structure within the organisation is hampering this growth. Within FIFA, only 6 women are on the 37-person council, and all of them are purely advisory roles. This has led to an imbalanced view of the female football pyramid. And Mia Eriksson, presenter of the Their Pitch podcast and analyst for Barcelona, feels all levels need representation.
I think it's important to for the women's game, I think it's important to show the broad perspective of players, to let every player, no matter how big or small they are, get shown off. Everyone who wants to take part of the game can have role models to look up to or just look on.
Despite the improvements in broadcasting and the increase of participation, diversity is becoming a serious problem in the UK game. In February of 2021, the England national team named an entirely white 23-woman squad, and since, only 2 black players have been named on a regular basis. This is leaving millions in the country without role models. University football is hoping to address this issue with its inclusion of different backgrounds and nationalities.
Normally I observe a lot how the players are doing, and I can see they are well integrated. I can see they're always talking to the players, always having people around them. I talk to them individually as well. They're enjoying their experience here, so it's just a matter of try to talk, understand what they expect, and try to facilitate for them to have the best experience they can have.
The women's football team at Solent University features 7 players of various backgrounds, including international students from as far away as Hawaii. Whilst the team is a small sample size, it shows promising signs that diversity within the women's game can improve. Whether that growth can match the rise in participation, though, remains to be seen. Hayden Baker for Solent Sports News.
That's all from us for now. Be sure to check us out on socials at Solent Sports News or online at solentjournalism.co.uk. We'll see you again next week.